Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu aranyagato arukhamulagato sunyāgāragato āniṣīdati pallaṅkaṅ ābhujitva ujunkáyaṅ panidhāya parimukhaṅ satiṅ upaṭṭhapetvā so sato assa sati sato passa sati dīghaṅ vā assa santo dīghaṅ assa sāmīti pajānāti dīghaṅ vā passa santo dīghaṅ passa sāmīti pajānāti rassaṅ vā assa santo rassaṅ assa sāmīti pajānāti rassaṅ vā passa santo rassaṅ passa sāmīti pajānāti sabbakāya patisaṅvedī assa sissāmīti sikkhati sabbakāya patisaṅvedī passa sissāmīti sikkhati passam bhayaṅ kāya saṅkhāraṅ assa sissāmīti sikkhati passam bhayaṅ kāya saṅkhāraṅ passa sissāmīti sikkhati. Dear devotees, today we are going to take the start for the fourth talk, and so far we have covered the introductory part of the Sathipattana Sutta and passing the basic theoretical part. Last time we really got the access to the practical side also, and then now we are, with the help of the Sathipattana guidelines, we try to trace the most practical part of this meditative life. In other words, we will give the priority for the practical aspect of this Sathipattana Sutta, basically with the mindfulness on in-breath and out-breath. Anyway, this sutta itself is covering a very good part of the theory aspect of the Buddhism. Therefore, on the way, we will get enormous chances to see different aspects of theoretical part of the Buddhism. So therefore, that also will not be neglected. We will try to deal it as it comes, as they come. Last time, of course, we recited and introduced the very part that I already recited in Pali, but today the same line we are going to proceed further. If I am to remind or remember the briefing of the last talk, we just got the access to the Ānāpānasati bhavana or the mindful meditation on mindfulness on in-breath and out-breath. And further, we try to see the possible hindrances or difficulties usually the newcomers tend to meet, and they are how to deal with them. Of course, in the sutta itself, it has not been mentioned in that manner, but giving the priority for the practical aspect, this is a very essential and unavoidable aspect, that of distractions. And further, we try to see the definition of mindfulness more and more clearly as the progress of meditation goes. Today, same way, we will proceed further. In the introduction, the Buddha, the Omniscient One himself, has given the most conducive and wanted supportive surroundings for this kind of meditation is Aranyagatova, Hukkhamulagatova, Sunyagaragatova. Go into a forest or under a tree or to an empty house, empty hut. This indicates the solitude, the physical part, Kaya Viveka. And Rukkhamulagatova, Sunyagaragatova, Nisidati Pallanka. That indicates the Anapanasati Bhavana is more recommended to the sitting posture. There are 4 postures yet to discuss, and out of that, sitting posture is the most conducive for this Anapanasati Bhavana, but this is for the beginners. But later, as the person improves or progress, he may find any posture you can use it for this furthering of or advancement of Anapanasati Bhavana. But for the moment we maintain it, the sitting posture. Nisidati Pallanka. Ujungkayang Panidaya, Parimukang Satyang Upatta Petva. Keep the upper part of the body erect so that your breathing process will be unhindered, undisturbed, and then mindfulness, the establishing mindfulness in front of you, or that means giving a hint that you are placing the attention at the tip of your nose or on the top of your upper lip as the breathing becomes the most prominent. But this is just a kind of a standard instructions. But last time also we made the point clear. When you are sitting in a comfortable posture, and once you scan through and gone through, swept through the sitting posture, and if the mental and the physical surroundings are okay, the breathing will be the next most prominent, conspicuous experience. So that the yogi, the practitioner, the beginner is asked to follow this particular prominency of the in-breath and out-breath. And that is the point where the touching point become important. In many cases it is at the tip of the nose, maybe on the right nostril or left nostril, maybe sometimes a place common to both. Whatever may be, you have to be selective on the practical base, pragmatic basis. Or sometimes some people may find, according to their situation, the top of the upper lip. But last time we took time to understand, if you are looking this breathing process from a distance kind of observation, sometimes your rising and falling abdomen may be more prominent than in-breath and out-breath. Whatever may be, it is an individual or personal kind of experience. Whatever it may be, you have to be very patient to see which one is the more durable, which one is the more personal for oneself. So therefore, once you sit and once the body posture becomes very calm and quiet, and then you will go to this next prominent object of meditation or the experience, go based upon the in-breath and out-breath process. And then once these things are aligned, that means once these things come into proper shape, the first and foremost thing is, as we discussed last time, to observe in-breath as in-breath and the out-breath as out-breath. Sato asasati, sato pasasati. As the breathing goes unhindered, uninterrupted, not with forced breathing. You are only supposed to be mindful on in-breath and out-breath. So that I would add 3 practical hints to make this point much clearer. That is to say, you are being asked, or you are supposed to see in-breath versus out-breath, or to experience discriminately what is the experience of in-breath and what is the experience of out-breath. This indicates, or in other words, if you can see the difference between in-breath and out-breath, that you are pretty sure mind is not distracted by thoughts or pain or sounds or an imagination or whatever it may be. The mind is with in-breath and out-breath. And to make it sure, make it clear and make it more firm, you are being asked to experience 2 phases separately. And it is a fact, practical point, there appear to be completely black and white difference. If the in-breath is cooler, out-breath will appear like warmer. If the in-breath rubbing sensation is inward, outward rubbing sensation is outward. Out-breath rubbing sensation is outward. Because when you are, as soon as you sit, your breathing takes place in a rough manner, gross manner, all the nostrils are filled and the rubbing sensation is much prominent, and there only you are being asked to see in-breath and out-breath as discriminately as possible, discreetly as possible. When this happens, you must try to maintain this balance, maintain this consistency as long as possible. If it is so, eventually you will see throughout the whole process of in-breath what is the most prominent point of touch. This is something additional to the discriminate experience of in-breath and out-breath. Within the process of in-breath, you are bound to see what is the most prominent touching point, and out-breath also what is the most prominent touching point. That is the second alignment. And when these 2 alignments are okay, to keep all the hindrances at bay, you may start noting. When the in-breath happens, you note it as in. When the out-breath happens, you note it as out. Noting means not verbalization, it is labeling. It is just noting to make the mind aligned with in. If these 3 comes together, you are going to entertain a lot of benefits. One thing I would say, sometimes if you are incorporating this technique of noting, sometimes you may see or you may observe while breathing, you may note as, while breathe in, you may note as out. Sometimes while you are breathing in, you may be noting as out. So much so confusion can take place. So therefore noting is going to show whenever something goes wrong, out of the track. It will give the very subtle but very immediate response to say something wrong. So sometimes you may be noting in, out, but mind may be completely possessed by daydreaming or fantasizing or thinking. Or sometimes may be really fighting with the pain, but still the noting or the mind will appear to be showing that it is with in and out breathing, but it is not. So likewise, when the noting started, this will be a indicator to see whether the practical process and the mental awareness is being aligned or not. So otherwise, the noting will be a distraction. So therefore, keep it as a tool. As far as these hindrances are there, the noting will be useful to keep the hindrances at bay. So therefore, 3 alignments, see the difference or experience the difference of in-breath and out-breath. It is one first and foremost. And the second thing is to make sure what is the most prominent and vantage point where the experience of in-breath and out-breath having the most prominent touch. Maybe end of the or tip of the nose or top of the lip, or sometimes, as I mentioned earlier also, maybe at the abdomen, rising and falling also. So that is why when these are all possible, when these are all potential openings, but when you are reporting to the teacher, you must be specific to say, I am doing Anapana and my point of touch is so and so. Or otherwise you have to say, I am doing with rising and falling based upon Anapana and my point of touch or the where my mind is being placed is such and such. So that means more and more techniques you are going to introduce. The sharpness increases, but you have to be reporting. You must report also with this sharpness. So a crowd like this, audience like this, I think we can demand that kind of a precision because everyone has good education as well as doing that kind of a living, that kind of a technical life. Therefore, as far as techniques are there, you must be technical. Otherwise, all the techniques will be disturbances or too much of complications. So therefore, use it for the benefit, and if it is so, if it is not so, leave it. And once this is completed, we can say we are well embarked and taken the trip to Anapana, or so to say, Sato Asasati, Sato Pasasati. More you go along this in-breath to out-breath, out-breath to in-breath, in-breath to out-breath, out-breath to in-breath, the next suggestion, the omniscient one suggests is, Digang va asasanto, digang asasamiti pajanati, digang va pasasanto, digang pasasamiti pajanati. You may see at the beginning of your breathing, early part of your sitting, you tend to experience longer breathings, longer in-breaths and longer out-breaths. But this is again the standard kind of instructions. But some people may note the in-breath is longer and the out-breath is shorter, comparatively. Sometimes in-breath is shorter and out-breath is longer, comparatively. Those who take slow in-breath and quick out-breath like a sigh appear to be kind of emotional kind of characters. Those who are taking quick out-breaths, quick in-breaths are quite rushing kind of mood or rushing kind of character. The best of it is to have the equal in-breath and out-breath. That is what you may get instructed when you are going to do pranayama exercises in Hindu tradition. It says by controlling the length of in-breath and out-breath, you can control your emotional body. You can control your habits. But here it is put it in another way. By understanding the length of in-breath and out-breath, you can diagnose what kind of a character am I. So instead of going for therapeutic side, be sensitive to see what kind of a breathing. If it is not manipulated, if it is not interfered, what kind of a breathing happens naturally. The normal way is to start with longer breath, longer in-breath, longer out-breath. That means you have taken one step ahead from knowing just in-breath and out-breath. Now you have seen yet another spatial kind of a character of the air draft, the air column, the inflow, the outflow. You see it is longer. That means that very rubbing sensation you experience in in-breath and out-breath, if it is rubbing for longer time, that we call the air draft is longer. If the rubbing sensation is shorter, we call the air draft is shorter. Otherwise, there is no such longness or shortness. We experience through the touch, through the rubbing sensation. So we are specializing more on the rubbing sensation, and it is in the in terms of length. So it's a matter of time also, but we are seeing kind of a cross saw pulled this way and that way like. Sometimes you can see that they are pulling the whole length of the saw, or sometimes they do with very short kind of movements. And that is why they, as an example, the example of the turner has been given. When he pull long, he knows he is pulling long. And his body also can experience it. And he is pulling shorter, he knows shorter. That is how Rassang va assasanto rassang assasamiti pajanati, rassang va passasanto rassang passasamiti pajanati. That is being placed after the Diga. That means after the long session, when the mind, the body, the noting mind calms, the air draft, air transaction, air column also becomes shorter. That means very healthy kind of improvement, the progress. But of course, when these things happen, you may encounter a lot of other mishaps. And again, the long breaths can interfere. And again, it may be calmed down, and again, long breath can happen. But this is due to that circumstantial interruptions. But otherwise, it is calming down happen this way. And if Sato Asasati, the in-breath, out-breath discrimination, and then to the long in-breath and out-breath, and then to the short in-breath and out-breath, means that your mind is undisturbed by thoughts, the sounds, or pain, or whatever other distractions. So if it is happening, you must not get upset telling that my breathing is becoming inconspicuous or not much obvious, therefore my mindfulness is losing its efficiency, or my concentration is dwindling kind. So this indicates, even if it is shorter and the touch sensation become less and less, those who have understanding, theoretical understanding, can have peace of mind, telling now something happening. Mind is continuously observing breath to breath, no other disturbances. If the disturbances happen, of course, pattern will be little different. And when these things happens, that means the mind and the body, as well as the in-breath and out-breath become shorter. If you are navigating carefully, you will come to know the very observation of the discrimination of the in-breath and out-breath now about to be less and less. The difference is less and less. You may find in-breath as well as out-breath almost like similar and shorter. So that is the point. Many yogis tend to be doubtful, entertain doubts as to whether my mindfulness has gone something wrong, whether my meditation has gone out of the track, or my concentration has disturbed. No, that is a natural way, natural course. So when it will become subtler and subtler and shorter, the instruction is to exert more and more energy, or to be more and more vigilant, or to be more and more diligent, or to be more and more mindful and be concentrated. That is why it says, Sabbakaya patisangvedi asasissamiti sikkhati. Now he has to, the yogi has to see the dwindling kind of touch sensation completely, in totality. Here the Sabbakaya, the whole body. But the practical sense, or safely you can translate to say the breath body. When it will become subtler and subtler, you are being asked to follow from beginning through the middle to the end. That is in-breath. And the out-breath also, from the beginning to the middle to the end. So this is this kind of a very detailed kind of observation, a detailed kind of follow and observation necessary when the other factors are very conducive and the body, the mind and the air column become subtler. This is a very tricky point for the yogis, because they may think, or the beginner may think, when it is cross, when it is rubbing the whole nostril, then only I can see the beginning, the middle and the end. When it is becoming subtler and subtler, how can I be observant, be observed, to observe the beginning, the middle and the end? So therefore, this hint is, do not give up. Be very vigilant. See immediately. Or you have to change the gear of the mindfulness from first gear to the second gear. That is, you have to be fully thorough mindful. Mindfulness must be steadfast. Therefore, those who are reporting to the teachers, telling at the beginning, I can see the in-breath and out-breath, but 5 minutes time, sometimes 2 minutes time, or sometimes still shorter, I feel drowsy, or I fall asleep, or I don't see any kind of object, and I don't know where my mind is drifting. All the kind of things are due to the interruption in the mindfulness. That is why in the Sathipattana Sutta, it says at the beginning, see the in-breath and out-breath, and then see the longness in and out, the shortness in and out, and then see whatever the subtlety from the beginning to the middle and the end. So that means you have to be wanting, expect that kind of a healthy progress, as well as be ready with enough energy, and as a result, continuous mindfulness to see the whole panorama, the whole episodes without a miss. More you to miss, more the distractions to come and interrupt you, and more to get bewildered and with doubtful. Am I in the correct track or no? Is my mindfulness progressing or getting distracted? So not to have that, the best thing is to do continuous mindfulness and be ready to be more and more diligent, more and more close view and complete view, the beginning, the middle and the end. When the beginning, the middle and the end happens, you are most probably completely lost in the discrimination of in-breath and out-breath. Because in-breath also, if you are bound to see the beginning, the middle and the end, exactly appear like out-breath, also you observe in terms of the beginning, the middle and the end. But if the mindfulness is steadfast, continuous, there won't be any chance for the bewilderment or hesitation or doubt. But this is a trial and error game, so no one can go to this stage of concentration or the meditation without mistakes. So that is why when the mindfulness is being defined, it says the close proximate cause for the mindfulness to be established is the early mistakes. It says, Kayadi Satara Sathipattana Padatthana. It based upon the early mistakes. Therefore, nothing to be thrown away. All the mistakes are leading to the correctness and more technical kind of approach. So therefore, the reporting and the discussions in the teachers or the advanced yogis, definitely not with non-meditators. That is dangerous. That is unwanted, not asked for. You have to discuss with the advanced yogis or the teachers. They will really help you to make use of all the mistakes, and not only that, they will gauge what kind of a character is this, what kind of a personality traits they have. Sometimes help you to diagnose yourself. Then only you become independent in your practice. Otherwise, ever you are under the doubts and the bewilderment. And so much so you have to depend upon the teachers and the advanced yogis. So therefore, early practice and the early experiences, early encounters, if you are making a good note, they will be leading to more and more precise kind of energy and diligence and very consistency in the mindfulness. And when this happens, if you are lucky enough, the last stage or the fourth stage is mentioned, Passambhayang kaya sankharang asasissamiti sikkati, Passambhayang kaya sankharang pasasissamiti sikkati. That means the in-breath and out-breath. Kaya sankhara technically indicates, or in the Dhamma jargon, it indicates the breath. Passambhati means calming down, the settling down. And after you mastered the stage where you are to see the beginning, the middle and end of the in-breath, the beginning, the middle and end of the out-breath, then everything is very, everything has come to a good shape. Then calming down starts. Everything settles down. Passambhana. So when it happens, there's a kind of a hurdle, kind of a threshold. You are exceeding. When these calming down stages happen, your effort and your focusing slowly stops. The meditation becomes effortless. The meditation gathers the momentum and start to go further and further. This is a very clear indication that your temperament is on the concentration line. If the concentration happens, if you are a assigned person for the concentration kind of meditation, then this calming down happens without asking any kind of steering, noting or driving force of the mind. It starts to calm down. But the results or the gain of the calm down mind is fully endowed with. And then more you experience it, deeper the calmness. When you keep on doing, you may find there is no guiding kind of a, or leading kind of a sign or experience. Like in early time, there is no sensation as such on the breathing. No sensation as such on the touching point. They all completely calm down. But definitely you know, even the sign or sensation not available, your mindfulness is consistent. Your concentration is consistent. So if that is the case, you have to be very confident about the situation and make a firm determination, let my mind entertain this situation as long as possible. Longer the better. So this is the point where the teachers are asking for a longer sittings. Till that 1 hour of standard time is quite enough. But when the meditation catching the momentum and the progress sets in, at the beginning you see the longer breathing and then slowly calming down. Then you stir. Then you start with the second gear and then be more vigilant and more energetic and observe very closely, and immediately then it leads to gather its own momentum. Then you calm down. Calming down means even without the effort, if the mind meditation is going to gather the momentum, you be prepared for that kind of situation and be as a mature yogi, let the meditation to continue as it goes. But your supervigilance, so diligence is there. Only the complaint is that there is apparently no in-breath and out-breath, no rubbing point. But they are leading, there are some kind of a hint, there are kind of a sensation, my mindfulness is not disturbed, my concentration is not disturbed. If it is so, yogi has to be confident and drive through. Continue to be calm and mindful. So far, all these 4 stages, namely the long in-breath and out-breath, the short in-breath and out-breath, the beginning, the middle and the end of in and out breathing, and the calming down, completely go through the specialization on the air column, air draft. But in the meditation on in-breath and out-breath has many other avenues also. But this is the avenue which is more standard for the concentration kind of meditation. But when you are reading and studying and practicing the Sathipattana Sutta, you can say the Buddha, the Omniscient One, promoting at the beginning as much as concentration, as much as the calming down of the mind. For that to happen, for this concentration to set in, for that mindfulness to be continuous, you must be lucky not to get so much of irritation from the sounds and the wandering thoughts or daydreaming and body pains. Those who complain more with this kind of distractions find the unhindered progress is very difficult to assume. Instead, they are getting more agitated by thoughts or pain or sounds, and prominence of in and out breathing disappears, and all the kind of cross currents. For them, there is a potential and opportunity, but I must make the point clear: if you are lucky enough to come to the concentration, be promotive, make supports, make contribution as long as possible for the concentration time. But if it is not so, more advisably, with the help of the teacher, you can see the other possibilities. For that, we have to go back to little theory and then see the possibilities of starting the bare insight or insight meditation right from the beginning without this kind of training on the concentration. The Sathipattana, the Sutta itself, is talking about 4 kinds of mindfulness, or 4 kinds of Sathipattana, 4 kinds of establishment of mindfulness, or 4 kinds of Sathipattana, starting with Kayanupassana, based upon the body. But if you are taking a being it has the 6 faculties: the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, as well as the mind. All the 6 are called faculties or institutes. They have their own business. When the visible object comes to a healthy living eye, then the visible object becomes avenued or impinged, and if that is the most prominent experience for the moment, the mind goes to the eye. It goes my eye consciousness, and that is how, that is the way you become a seer and you experience the seeing. That means the mind is fully engaged in seeing, not in hearing, not in smelling, not in tasting, not in touching, not in thinking. At that particular moment, the 100% you are a seer, seeing takes place. For that, the visible object must be there, the eye door must be healthy and living, and the mind has to come up to that point. Exactly when I am talking, the sound comes. The sound waves goes and hit on your eardrum, and then the eardrum becomes agitated. And that, if that is the most prominent experience, the mind, the consciousness, go to that, despite the eye, nose, tongue, body, all the kind of. And there you become a listener, a hearer. And the nose also the same, tongue also the same, body also the same. In the breathing, the air draft come and strike on that particular point where you have already selected, at the tip of the nose or top of the lip or in the abdomen. So then you feel, and if that is the most prominent experience for the moment, the mind naturally goes to the in-breath and out-breath. If there is no such the seeing, hearing, smelling, touching and breathing, mind go daydreaming, go for fantasizing or wandering. So there are 6 aspects, 6 experiences are taking place. Any experience to take place, the 3 things has to come together: the striker element, the base element, and the ignition element. In the body, the striker element is the air column, the air draft, in-breath air, out-breath air. And it has to come and strike on the skin, where the sensitivity, the touch sensation can be dealt with. And then the touch comes. You feel the cool, you feel hot, you feel low, you feel short, you feel rubbing sensation, and you will feel expansion, contraction, many things. If the eye is the faculty, the visible object has to come and strike upon, impinge upon the eye sensitivity, and then the seeing takes place. Then you will see, I am seeing a woman, a man, a beautiful thing, a close thing, auspicious thing, or bad omen, whatever may be. So likewise, all the 6 sense doors are working in the same manner: the strike element, the base element, the ignition element. In this Anapana, the strike element is the air draft. The base element is the sensitivity of your nose, specifically at the tip of the nose or on the top of the lip or in the abdomen. And the sensation, the experience, is the ignition, is the outcome. As if a match, when you take a box of matches, you take one match and strike against the side of the box, and then the spark comes. You see, for that you have to have a particular amount of energy, and it has to strike in a particular angle, and then only the ignition of the flame happens. One being means there are 6 that kind of process: the ear base, the eye base, the ear base, the nose base, the tongue base, the body base, and the mind base. Now we are talking about Kayanupassana, that is in the body. If the attention, if the concentration or mindfulness is specializing only on the striker element, then it is called concentration meditation. If the person is seeing the whole phenomena as such, it is called vipassana or insight kind of meditation. So those who have tendency or past merits or past experiences with this kind of insight meditation will find their attention is basically not on the air draft but on the experience of the touch. The warmness, the coolness, the rubbing sensation, stiffness, tension, movements, many things, not the air draft. This kind of people find very difficult to follow the longness, shortness of the air and the beginning, the middle and end of the air, because their experience is not towards the striker element but towards the ignition element. So therefore they find Sathipattana instructions are not for me, because I can't see the air column, the air draft, or in and out air breath. Instead, they have kind of experience, sometimes they find difficult to put into words. So therefore teachers, the instructors, has to be very careful not to discourage but to get the experience what the beginner going to explain and listen carefully. And they will experience the titillation sensation and benumbing or warmness or coolness, or sometimes like the beehive got little agitated like, they feel something inside the nose. So if this is the case, that their attention is basically on the ignition element, not on the strike element. Whatever may be, it is happening in the body base. Maybe somewhere around the nose, or sometimes on the top of the lip, whatever may be. Therefore, your observations, if it is very technical, easily you can understand what kind of a person am I. So I am incorporating this kind of information not to disturb the concentration kind of meditation. They must be clear. If they are lucky enough to go with concentration kind, keep on doing. And if they are having not with the striker element but having some kind of experiences on the striker element, don't get discouraged. They can have this new opening for the bare insight meditation. So this kind of selection of the path needs few sittings on the basis of trial and error. When you are doing, don't rush, don't try to make a quick decision. Keep on accumulating on data, accumulation of your experience. Sometimes it may go to the striker element, the air draft, or sometimes it may go to the ignition element, to the sensations. If it is so, you patiently, you have to see which is more prominent, which is more durable, which is more consistent, because you have to select either. This point, for my experience, or I would say the responsibility about this discrimination is not on the beginner side, it is on the teacher side. Teachers must be very careful in listening. But many people, those who have that kind of clarity in their understanding and the theory, going to instruct yogis or beginners on Anapana meditation, ultimately both the parties get entangled in problems. So therefore Buddha says, Naham bhikkhave muttassatissa asampajanassa Anapana sating vadami. O monks, I am not recommending this subtle meditation of Anapana for those who have no clear mindfulness and then those who have no clear discernment. For them, a rough kind of a meditation must be there. That is why Anapana has to be started with the conducive situation, proper posture, with good atmosphere of mental and physical, and then he or she must have very clear in their understanding and explanation to the teacher, short to the point, and then it's a very efficient method. Not for the people, those who have the bewildered minds, not clarity in their mindfulness, and their clear comprehension is not very specialized. So therefore, interviews and talking with the teachers and writing and taking notes of your early practice is very important. This can happen at any level of your Anapana meditation. At the beginning you may find the concentration is very good, very nicely progressing. And then all of a sudden, that 1 or 2 sessions, you may not find the air draft, instead you may find other sensations. Sometimes the insight meditators, those who have started with these sensations, the numbness, hardness, stiffness, movements, heat, cold, cohesiveness kind of thing, all of a sudden find very keen concentration and calming down along the air draft also can happen. So therefore in the Sathipattana, it says all the yogis can put into the basically 3 methods. Those who have started with concentration meditation and later convert into the insight method. Some people starting with the insight method and convert later into the concentration type. Some find both are mixed together. In my personal experience, I was hardly fighting, and with the only experience and instruction with insight meditation, but my meditation was not progressing. Because I have heard only the insight meditation, but I have never gone through Sathipattana method, and no one to instruct me also, but I try to see all the natural characteristics of the in and out breathing, but it was not my case. But anyway, I had no chance to discuss with the teachers, but they are core meditators. They were not so very sharp and keen on this kind of discrimination, so it happened me to take 8 years to come up to a kind of a discernment of that. The moment I gave the chance and moment I concentrated upon this air draft, I found very easily mind become concentrated, and then the insight meditation was a very good in leap. But when I am practicing under one teacher who is specialized in insight meditation, and he was always asking to go for bare insight method, but unlucky enough my experience are basically inclined to the strike element, towards the concentration. So I had a personal interview and went there and told, I find the momentum. I find some progress in this concentration line. I do not know, I am only talking about the technical term. I told mind is very calm and quiet, and the breathing also ceases to exist like. He said, don't do it like that. Go back to insight meditation and do this and that. So it was completely, the progress stopped, and years I was waiting on the wrong way. And when it is corrected, I saw how important the beginners understanding about this, the signals in the meditation to indicate whether it is naturally leading to the concentration type or insight type. But I have my own share of doubt whether this kind of technical information is too much to the yogis or not. But I hope you can discern them and use whatever may be useful and relevant to you. When I am translating to one of the very senior Burmese Sayadaw, then only he used to explain in technical terms or in theoretical terms how to discern the experience of Anapana to make a decision whether it is on the concentration type or insight type. That day onward, each book I am reading, each time I am referring to the yogis, I am always learning, I am always open to hear what is the true experience. So therefore, as beginners, what your responsibility is to experience it wholeheartedly and report to the teacher, and they will guide you, but still it's a trial and error. Under the Buddha's experience, which is special kind of knowledge, he can read others' minds and definitely see beforehand this must be the set of instruction for this particular yogi. But present day we don't have this eye. Therefore we have to be honest to each other. We have to be very communicating to each other, and then only you can see whether my track is concentration or whether insight. When this is happening, that means when the Anapana breathing happens, your observation must be very independent. You must never rush. You must never make a decision. You must have aloof, a distance kind of a observation. When this observation happens, not only you are be aware of the distractions happen, but you can be yourself a master to see what is the best way to lead today's meditation. So when this kind of a concentration momentum or insight meditation momentum happens, so you become so absorbed, you are being dragged into the in and out breathing. So when it happens, you find there is no chance for the distractions to come in. Mind and the body, mind and the object of meditation, so to say, the in and out breathing become touching each other, like come closer and closer, so much so the momentum of the meditation, then anisitocha viharati nacha kinchi loke upadiyati. You get an independent view towards the world. You will grasp, or you will not hankering nothing, because your mind is fully occupied in this meditation. So this is how the purification of the mind, the very first benefit that the Buddha assured, going to be experienced. So this can be disturbed if you do not discern this insight method and the concentration method. So therefore, with this information, still with your under the nose experience, you have to You have to start daily as a beginner. In the sense, you have to think, today I am starting Anapana just like a today born baby. Today I am the first day I am breathing. This is my first breath. And therefore, I know nothing. What I want is to see the breath as it happens. So then naturally and gradually, your past experience will come and guide, and then nothing to lose. You are not expecting. You are not behind something. So you are just observing the natural in-breath and out-breath. So when it happens, either the concentration line or insight line will be progressing unhindered. Most of the time what happens is, we become interfering and we manipulate it, and then the natural progress will be disturbed. And that is the only way is to have the interviews and the talk with the teachers, or note it very closely. Few mistakes time, you will come to know what is happening. And then only you will become temporarily aloofed or independent of the external world, and you will be go internal journey or introvert kind of thing. Because even inside meditation happens, the first and foremost thing the insight meditation is asking for is the concentration. Without the concentration, nothing can take place. But the object of meditation, in the pure concentration type, the strike element. For the insight meditation, the ignition element. According to the taste of meditation differs. But for the moment, for the start, at the beginning, both has to be concentrated. This concentration, very hard lesson for the beginners to start with. That is why I thought of adding little information about that. Therefore, don't use it for the confusion or complication. Use them as tools. When it is happening, specifically if the concentration way, if you are proceeding with these 4 stages, definitely you can feel this aloof look towards the outside world. When you, as far as you are in the meditation, as far as you are in the breathing, you are away from your body. You won't feel any sensation. You won't feel any sounds. You won't get any chance for thinking. Specifically at the 4th stage. So if that is happening, definitely you are getting up with more confidence, getting up with more energy to proceed further and further. So this is the way that it is going to give results within 7 years or 7 days. Otherwise you have to understand something wrong in the understanding of the basic information. Therefore daily you have to start as a beginner. When you are doing with the idea of beginner, very little chances for you to get gone wrong, get upset. So therefore, this Sathipattana Sutta basically leading definitely for the Sathipattana, the Samatha meditation or the concentration. But if you are going to experience some kind of hints towards the inside meditation, those do not get disheartened. Instead, you have to open the other avenue and go. Therefore, I think this theory information or theoretical knowledge will be a contributive light to your day-to-day experience. And when you are dealing and discussing with the teachers, you will be more precise and you will cut short the long path that would have been otherwise. So, with this help of information of theory as well as your practical, and with the blessing of Triple Gems, we wish and we have to be very looking forward to realize or to see things as they are. May you be well and be happy. Thank you very much. We have taken about more than 1 hour. That means time is 9:25. If someone has any question or comments, welcome. Otherwise, we will be going for traditional chanting of the stanzas and see the end of this sermon. That is what I also want to ask. It's your experience only. One has to decide. No one can decide beforehand. So in the sense you can't learn swimming being in the dry land. You have to get into water. Once you get into water, you will see which way you experience the first few minutes of in-breath and out-breath. That will lead, or that will give a clue to see which tendency you are with, whether it is to the insight or the concentration. Best way is to let the natural unfoldings to take place. You have to promote whatever may be your personality traits or personality going to reveal. So that is what you have to be very careful at the beginning. Daily start as a beginner. Don't come out with a premeditated idea. Today I have to do insight meditation. Tomorrow I have to do concentration meditation. Like, because this is none of things we can decide. You have to just observe and see what kind, and that is also with not with 1 or 2 days. Number of days you have to do. Then only you have to decide, and then you can really foster, you can support, get the set of information according to the tendency. No, that is Thero Saranai. Thero Saranai. Super. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. The ignition element, when it appears like a direct experience. You feel the numbness, you feel the stiffness, you feel the heat, cold, or tension, stiffness. So when it happens, so you will just keep on like that. You are not going to change into change the gear into the strike element, that is to say, the longness and the shortness of breath, at the beginning, the middle and the bed. So therefore you are not asked to change the element. You have to specialize and first come to know what is happening, and then keep the contact as long as possible. And if you are going to change it, that means your trend will be broken. And sati, or concentration and mindfulness, will be shaken here and there. So therefore, as far as it is leading, you have to just promote it. You have to support it the way it happens. But naturally that can happen. Sometimes the meditation itself will take turns. Whenever it happens, you have to patiently observe. Otherwise, don't interfere with. Don't try to steer the situation.
Concentration is always helpful for the vipassana?
That is why the concentration, two types, the pure concentration and insight concentration. The concentrated meditation which is leading to the jhanic experience is the pure type of samatha samadhi, vipassana samadhi. Whatever may be samadhi is necessary. But we have to see, based upon the conventional object like strike element leading to the samatha samadhi. The based upon the strike element which is experienceable under the nose, that is leading to the vipassana samadhi. So first of all, you have to develop the samadhi, but you must know which samadhi you are dealing with. And then saving the time. Otherwise, you are dealing at the junction of a bifork road. You don't know which way you have to go. So you will never pass the junction. I'm clearly keen to see whether this kind of information too much and complicating, or it will be useful tools. Because in the Kotte Dhamma talks, I found some people are stuck in this point for 15, 16 years. So when the information given, they will come to know that they have been playing in this bifork junction, sometimes in this way, sometimes that way. Never give the confidence unless otherwise they make their confidence, they make their mind clear. But for that, definitely they have their own share of experience. Then only it can be useful. Those who have no experience, with kind of too much detailed thing will make a fearful thing, frightening about meditation. It appears like more than a PhD thesis. But it has a simple thing even for the Sopaka, even for the 7-year-old Visakha. So therefore, this not asking so much of deep theory or calculations or formulas, nothing. But the only simple thing is, whatever you experience, directly talk with the teacher. The simplicity, short to the point reporting, very easy for the teacher. But in present day, many people are working without the teacher, and therefore, unless otherwise theory part is straightened, they will be rotating around in the same place. So therefore, the Mahasi Sayadaw, who is writing about the Vipassana insight meditation, he says, he knows this is too much for the beginners, those who have so much of work and the responsibilities, how to do this kind of complicated things. But there are some rare people, by learning this, they jump. They get the trigger off. So the other people, those have the facilities to go to the teacher, and patiently they are welcome accordingly. But some people get this idea, so that is why it is being published and it is being talked now. And we are lucky, for my understanding, I am very happy and very lucky, because this is 2,500 years old message coming up to us, to this kind of clarity. How lucky we are, because this is not being put into a model or blackboard, nothing. It is verbal kind of message, and with their own experience it is coming. And we are also putting that into practice, and then we can see if it is working, how lucky we are to get this message cross through such a long time. So therefore, whether it is correct or wrong, depend on your practice, depend on your investment of your own time. And you are the first and foremost person to understand whether it is working or not. Okay, with that understanding, we will go for the chanting of the stanzas, and then sharing our merits with the seen and unseen beings, as well as our relatives, as well as straightening our objectives. So we will chant together, Ettavata Chammehi. Ettavata Chammehi Sampatam Punya Sampadang Sabbe Deva Anumodantu Sabba Sampatti Siddhya. Ettavata Chammehi Sampatam Punya Sampadang Sabbe Bhuta Anumodantu. Ettavata Chammehi Sampatam Punya Sampadang Sabbe Anumodantu Sabba Sampatti Siddhya. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu mang parang. Ñātīn sīpat karaganda. For the relatives. Idang vo ñātīnang hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnang hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnang hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. For our clarification of our, for clearing our objectives, straightening our objectives, Himina Punya Kammene. Himina Punya Kammene Mami Bala Samagamo Satang Samagamo Hotu Yava Nibbana Pattiya. Himina Punya Kammene Mami Bala Samagamo Satang Samagamo Hotu. Himina punya kammene mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Idam me punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuccetu. So everyone pay respect together, then I can chant the Gatha. Abhivādana sīlissa niccang vaddhā pachāyino cattaro dhamma vaddanti āyuvanno sukhang balang āyurārogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevaca ato nibbāna sampatti imināte samijjatu.